Okay, let's unpack this Jeddah session. Free practice 2. It served up its usual dose of high-speed drama, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, high speed, near misses. Classic Jeddah.
You've shared all the reports, and yeah, we're diving straight into what really matters from that FP2 session.
Exactly. Think of this as, the shortcut. We're figuring out who looked genuinely quick, where the surprises were.
And what it might mean for later. Qualifying the race.
Precisely. We've got the timings, the whispers from the garages, car behavior stuff.
Right. So our job is to kind of blend all that together, give everyone a clear, hopefully engaging picture of how this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend is shaping up.
And crucially, pinpointing what these results actually mean, right? Like, who are the contenders? What are the challenges? Any strategic hints yet?
Yeah, good question. So where do we start? What grabbed the headlines first?
Well, McLaren, I think. They certainly shouted loudly, didn't they?
They did. Lando Norris, P1 and FP2, pretty blistering, 1.28.267.
And Oscar Piastri right behind him, like just over a tenth and a half back.
That 1-2, it looks impressive on paper. Suggests the car's got speed here.
It does. It really does. But let's look beyond just the numbers for a sec. Neither run was totally clean, was it?
No, good point. Norris cut a corner. Piastri had a little touch with the wall.
The love tap, yeah.
Oh.
Nothing major.
But it makes you wonder, are they right on the ragged edge? Fastest, sure, but is it, sustainable?
And Norris himself, despite being fastest, he admitted feeling uncomfortable earlier, even questioned their edge if things got tighter.
That's fascinating, isn't it? Discomfort even when you're quickest? Maybe they've pushed the setup for pure pace?
Could be. Maybe sacrificing a bit of handling consistency. It's a gamble. Good for quali, maybe, but tricky for a long race if the car is unpredictable.
And Piastri mentioning his seat getting very hot. That's not exactly ideal either. Discomfort all around.
Not the most relaxing start for them, no.
Yeah.
Adds another layer of difficulty.
Okay, so moving on from McLaren, they're rivals. Max Verstappen, Red Bull, he was third. About 2.5 tenths down.
Yeah, and Charles Leclerc's Ferrari fourth, just under half a second back, so still very much in the mix, you'd say.
Definitely. Verstappen, he apparently changed his plan during the session, but still showed that one-lap pace.
Absolutely. Being that close, even if not fastest, means he's a definite threat for pole. You can't count him out.
And Leclerc, he looked particularly strong on the medium tires, didn't he?
He did. That hints, maybe, at a potential one-stop strategy for the race. That could be powerful here.
Could be, though he also had a moment, ran wide at turn 4. Another reminder, Jeddah keeps you honest.
Always. And Verstappen mentioned his rear grip feeling loose. That's key.
Right. What does that usually mean?
Well, basically the back of the car isn't stable, especially accelerating out of corners. Makes it harder to put the power down cleanly. If Red Bull sort that, you'll find more time.
Okay, makes sense. Now, let's talk about a real surprise. Carlos Sainz, Williams, P5.
Yeah. Less than 7 tenths off Norris. On the softs, yes, but still.
Yeah.
That's way beyond what most expected from the FW47 here.
It really was impressive. Sainz himself said the car felt very alive, sounded confident.
He did. Even mentioned Q3 chances. Seems this faster flowing circuit suits the Williams better, perhaps.
He also had that near miss with Leclerc, I think.
Yeah, around turns 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that complex. Yeah. And he wasn't happy on the radio.
No, he felt Leclerc shouldn't have been right in the middle there.
Yeah.
Just shows how dangerous practice can be with traffic.
Totally. It highlights that constant fight for clear track and his other radio message.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Something like, let me do what I want, I know what I'm doing. Seemed like a response to team instructions on tires.
Huh. Okay. Sounds like he was feeling pretty dialed in then. Confident.
Very much so. Yeah. Suggests he really clicked with the car in that session.
All right, shifting focus. The midfield battle, Yuki Tsunoda, RB, finished 6th, which is pretty remarkable considering.
Considering we brought out the red flag.
Yeah.
Big crash at the final corner.
Ouch. What happened there?
He admitted it himself. Just took too tight a line, clipped the inside wall. Costly mistake.
But the intriguing thing is, before that shunt, the RB actually looked quite quick, didn't it?
It did. The underlying pace seemed pretty decent, so something to watch if they rebuild it okay.
And Pierre Gasly. He topped FP1, then 8th in FP2 for Alpine. That's encouraging for them.
Definitely. Showing some improved pace and consistency in the top 10 across sessions. That's a boost for Alpine.
Yeah, they'll want to keep that going. What about the other Williams, Alex Albon?
10th place. Which isn't bad, but his feedback was totally different to Sainz's.
Oh, how so?
He reported no balance. Felt like he'd crash if he pushed harder. Also felt Hamilton got in his way at one point.
Wow. Such a contrast in the same team. Shows how setup and driving style interact, I guess, what works for one.
Exactly. Isn't clicking for the other, at least not yet.
Okay, let's look at Mercedes. A bit of a underwhelming session.
You could say that. George Russell was 7th, okay, on paper.
But the report said their quali sims weren't that strong. Slipped back a bit.
Yeah, that inconsistency is something they'll be digging into. Why the pace dropped off on those runs.
And Lewis Hamilton, way down in 13th.
Yeah, he had a steering snap, that near miss with Albon.
And funny enough, the Italian press is apparently already speculating about his adaptation to Ferrari before he's even driven for them.
Well, that's the rumor mill.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the actual Ferrari team debuted a new, lower downforce rear wing, clearly chasing straight line speed.
Makes sense for Jeddah. But Hamilton's struggles maybe suggest finding that balance is tricky for lots of teams here.
It certainly seems that way. It's a fine line.
Speaking of struggles, Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso, seems like the Bahrain concerns are carrying over.
Looks like it. 15th for Alonso. He echoed those worries. Lack of big improvement with the AMR 25. Said it was difficult. Lots of oversteer.
Oversteer here sounds terrifying.
Yeah, not ideal on a fast street circuit like this. It's a real handful and likely points to some fundamental balance issues.
And then Lance Stroll spun at turn 1, rear lockup.
Yep. Into the runoff. Finished down in 18th. Not a good session for Aston.
And adding to that, Andy Cowell confirmed Adrian Newey is only focused on the 2026 car. No quick fixes coming for this year's car from him.
Right. That sets expectations clearly. Aston's focus is very much on the future regs now. They need to find gains with the current team for this season.
Okay. Any other incidents worth mentioning? Lots of near misses, it seems.
Yeah, quite a few. Isaac Hadjar tapped a wall, had that close call with Albon. Jack Doohan had a scare at turn 10.
Felt Alonso impeded him too. And ran wide, scraped the ground.
Busy times for the stewards, probably. And poor Gabriel Bortoleto missed FP2 entirely. Fuel leak.
Oh, that's tough for a rookie. Losing track time here is brutal.
Absolutely. You need every lap you can get around Jeddah.
Also saw Hülkenberg's crew keen to get him out early. Traffic was an issue for Norris, felt blocked by a Red Bull.
Always a factor here. And teams were definitely testing those medium tires, as we saw with Leclerc. Could be key for the race.
And the track itself, evolving fast, grip improving.
Yeah, standard street circuit stuff. Grip ramps up, especially as temperatures drop during the session.
Yeah.
That affects balance too.
Oh, and the race director note about mirroring warning panels. That sounds like a sensible safety update.
Definitely. Earlier warnings are always good on a track this quick. So yeah, lots of little details feeding into the big picture from FP2.
Okay, so after digesting all that information, what are the main takeaways? What should people remember from FP2?
Well, I think McLaren showed speed, serious speed, but Norris's comments had a question mark about consistency.
Right.
Verstappen and Leclerc, right there, looking strong as expected.
Saints.
Standout performer in the midfield, really impressive in the Williams.
And on the other side.
Aston Martin and Alonso seem to be, well, still searching for answers. And generally, Jeddah remains super demanding. Punishes any mistake.
And looking ahead, what are the intriguing threads for us, for the listeners, to keep an eye on?
I'd say the difference in feeling between Norris and Piastri, despite similar times. Yeah. That's interesting.
Sainz' confidence, too. His radio messages.
Yeah, suggests he's really feeling it here. Then you got the off-track Verstappen future chatter, even if the team plays it down.
Always there, isn't it?
And just the big performance spread in that midfield. They could make qualifying and the race potentially quite unpredictable. Chaotic, even.
Okay, so final thought then, something to leave everyone mulling over.
With the field looking potentially quite tight, especially after FP1, even the tiniest error. A small lockup in qualifying, a slightly slow pit stop, or maybe a bold strategy call.
Could make all the difference.
Exactly. On this super high-speed, high-risk circuit, what risks will teams and drivers take to find that edge? That's the big question hanging over the weekend now, I think.